right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Ricky's Funhouse. Today we're doing about 8 different things at once. We're doing some full fills, we're doing some bookmarks, we're doing some fobs, we're doing some patches. I'm doing finish work for Monday's drop, and I'm trying to dye my hair. So if all goes according to plan, I'll sew my hand into a full fill, I'll put a snap tab on a patch, and my hair will turn out purple. Wait a minute, no, I do want my hair to turn out purple. Oh well, let's just see what happens. So, patches. Patches. They are really super popular. But everybody wants to know, how do you get the nice satin finish on the edge of a patch without fabric showing through, without stabilizer showing through? What do you do to get that nice, pretty little edge? And today I'm going to show you how to do a patch. So I'm doing the next adult merit badge series. Didn't lose my bad word. And the one we're going to work on right now is went to work anyway. So what you are going to need is you are going to need some water soluble stabilizer, some WSS. Okay, I use woven WSS for patches. Now, I started out, when I started making patches, I used Sulky. And I was like, ooh, I'll just put 4 or 5 layers of this. It's kind of thin. It's like saran wrap. This perforated really bad, and you'd get halfway through the patch, and it would have punched all the way through the WSS, and it would be there flopping, and your alignment would be off, and you get registration errors, and everything would go horrible. So I'm like, okay, well, then I'll get the really thick WSS. Because the thicker stuff, that's got to be right. Except the problem was that this thicker stuff, yeah, it held better, but it's still plasticky. And after 10,000 needle punches, it just perforates away. Then I discovered my very favorite WSS in the entire world. It is called H2O Gone. I guess they're trying to be French. I don't know. It's wash and gone, and it's a woven stabilizer, okay? And you just add, let's see if I can get a tiny bit of water. Just a tiny bit of water. And it just melts away. So we are going to use that. The other thing, ooh, that's a bad idea having that right there. So what I do is I go ahead and I hoop 2 pieces of WSS, but I do them crossways against each other. That adds one more layer of stabilization. So we're going to hoop these up. When you hoop these guys, you want to hoop them fairly tight. You don't want any floppy. You don't want any floppy. Okay, so you want to make sure that you don't have wrinkles. You want to make sure that everybody is nice and tight. You're going to tighten your doohickey. Don't you love all the technical terms? Don't you feel like you're getting your money's worth paying for these video classes? Oh, wait a minute. You paid nothing for these video classes, so you're getting every penny's worth. Ha, ha, ha. All right, so I am nice and tightly hooped. I've pulled all of my wrinkles out. All right, I need to prepare my fabric. So you can use cotton twill, you can use denim, you can use canvas. I've also seen some really cool leather patches or marine vinyl patches. I am running low on supplies again because I am really bad at inventory. So I took some 60 weight cotton woven quilt fabric, and I stabilized the back of it. I sewed some ironed some medium weight stabilizer to the back, and that is going to be my base fabric for my patch. Okay, then on my pattern, you'll see this is a die line, and I've already run my die line. Woohoo! And that is for the placement of your fabric. Okay, then you're going to run color stop 2, which is a applique tack down. I'm going to go ahead and run that and then show you what to do next. Back in a second. Oh, So you want your dye line, then you just float your fabric. Back in a minute. So working on our patches, we have sewed step 1, our dye line, step 2, our applique tack down. So now we're going to grab our duckbills, woohoo, and we are going to come in here and we are going to trim as close to that applique tack down line as we possibly can without actually snipping the stitches. And that's why I love my duckbills, because if you notice, this paddle lays over your stitches on the back side. And I don't know, there we go. This blade is beveled away from the stitches. So even if you've got it right on top, it's going to slide away from your stitch line and help keep you from cutting your stitches. And I saw a lot of people saying, oh, I put my duckbills in so that this blade is right on top of the stitches and I cut this way. Well, that's either going to force you about 1/8 of an inch away from the stitch line, or if you're right on top of it, that bevel right there is going to force you onto your stitch line and cause you to snip your stitches. So we always put the paddle down so that it's laying on top of our stitch line. The other helpful hint is try as much as possible to move your project, and it's harder while it's still in the hoop, rather than move your scissors. Turning your project helps you stay way close to that stitch line, because you can make better fine adjustments with this big old honking thing than you can with these tiny little things. Okay, as you're going, you want to be aware of that point. You don't want to shove your point into your WSS and start a premature hole. And then right here, pull. There you go. Beautiful, perfect, wonderful. Woohoo! There we go. Okay, folks, so once you've run the dye line and you've floated your patch fabric and you've run your tack down, you do your applique trim, you put it back in the hoop and you run all of the steps till the very end. And then I'll come back and show you how to trim out. As smooth on the back as we possibly can. And then we are going to, well, what do you do to attach the patch? Well, when it was Scott's flight suit that I had to attach patches to, I actually had to sew on the machine male Velcro to the back of all of his patches. And let me tell you, that was 9 kinds of fun, because his flight suit had female Velcro and they had to change their patches from time to time. What do we do here? Well, the thing is, we want to get rid of all of this wash away. And we also want to get rid of the wash away back here so that there's a nice permanent attachment for whatever you use. And I'll show you what I use. And you don't have to do what I do. You don't have to copycat, but it's what I find works best for me. So what I do is I usually take my seam ripper and I go all the way around the WSS so that I have less WSS that I have to wash away. All right, but the trick with this is you want to make sure that you're staying away from that satin line, because if you cut your satin with your seam ripper, it's going to unravel and you are going to be sad. All that hard work gone because of a slip of a wrist. So you may want to leave more of a WSS buffer that you have to wash away. Okay, and again, this is the H2O away or something. And all you need is water, and I use a toothbrush. Okay, and you'll see I'm going to do just a little bit of this and some of the back. You'll see right there, I set it down on a water surface or a waterproof surface, and I just run it back and forth a little bit, just like that. And you will see it is now gone. And you flip it over And you do the same to the back. Okay, and now you see we've gotten all the way down to the stabilizer on the back of my fabric. Now, since this is wet, I can't attach my stickums. I gotta finish getting this off and let it dry. But I didn't want you to have to sit here and wait forever literally watching a patch dry. So I'm gonna finish this up in a little bit. I'm gonna set it aside, and I am going to show you what I use to make it stickum. I love Badge Magic. Badge Magic is a peel and stick adhesive, okay? Both sides are sticky. Both sides come coated with a protector, okay? One of the things that I hear a lot is, oh my God, how do you get it to cut in a perfect circle? I cheat until I get my SDX 225. Haha. Remember that first step of our patch where it was just a single bean stitch die line? Yeah, I hoop up some stabilizer, just some cheap, and we all have this, it came free with our machine, some cheap single ply, lightweight stabilizer, and I go back to the start of my patch and I run just the die line, just that single bean stitch on my stabilizer, and then I float just a little piece of Badge Magic, a little bit bigger. And you know what, I'm gonna cheat. Usually I sit there and pick out my stitches so that I can use my stabilizer again over and over and over again, because I'm cheap that way. But I don't want you guys to have to sit here and watch. Oh, wait a minute, she's coming up, good. Mostly, okay. So I ran my die line, and now I have a cutting line. I can cut along the dots, and it will be the perfect size for my patch, because cutting a perfect circle is usually less than fun. So I'm gonna grab me my scissors, and you see all those little perforations? If I cut right on top of them perfectly, I will have a perfectly circular piece of Badge Magic, give or take, because it is me, to go on the back of my patch. Okay, so when you are setting up your patch, if you're not going to be putting it on something right away, you only want to peel off one side of the stickum. You don't want to peel off both sides of the stickum. Woo! Okay, so we are going to peel off one side of our stickum. It'd help at this point if I had fingernails, wouldn't it? There we go. Come here. There we go. All right, and it is super sticky. So before you stick it all the way down, you want to make sure that you are nice and lined up, left, right, top, and bottom. And then as you're putting it down, you want to work from the center to the edges. And now we are nice and stuck down. Woohoo! Woohoo! And there's our, ooh, I did not line that up. I'm a bad person. Oh, well. And whomever gets your patch, all they have to do, I will probably go back and trim that. Is it stuck down? Oh, it's stuck all the way down. Yikes. It's okay, it's clear, so when I pull off that backing, you won't be able to see it. Yikes. But they will be able to pull off the backing and just slap it on whatever they want to put the patch on. Hope that was helpful. Thank you for watching. Visit us on the webpage.